What's going on, guys? We are back once again, and we are going to be finally reviewing the brand new episode of The Bad Batch. Now, this was actually a lot better than last week's episode. I noticed that a lot of people, including myself, did not care for the last episode. It just seemed very boring. But this episode really kicked off right when we see clones being transported somewhere, and all you see is, of course, we get to see Echo return along with Rex and some other clones that have gone and started gathering rogue clones and try to help other clones gather an army against the Empire. Now, again, this is episode 14 of season 2. So what's really cool is we see where they go up against the Empire, and then as soon as this happens, they try to gather this information about where these clones were going, and during during this fight, you really get to see of not only that the clones are more trained than the stormtroopers, obviously, but it really does show the difference in this episode. It truly does. And I also will say that in this episode, when they try to find out more information, they go back to Coruscant. And what we see is that the senator that was trying to help the clones in the last episode is helping the clones as well. Right now, she's helping Rex, she's helping Echo, and as soon as this happens, we see where he tells her, he says, I may not be able to go ahead and download all this information, but I know someone who will. Obviously, he's talking about Tech. So he goes to Tech and tries to go ahead and gather as much information as he can possible. But as soon as that does happen, he gets there, and we see that Tech is training Omega how to fly. Wrecker's trying to help with the issues with the village, as well as Hunter's helping as well. So there's a lot of people that's trying to help right now, and we do see that everyone is trying to pull their own weight, but we also see that Hunter is not fully sure if he still wants to stay there or not. And Tech, what was really funny with Tech is that Tech actually gets almost a taste of his own medicine, so to speak, because since he's giving Omega flying lessons, it's almost like teaching your daughter how to drive, so to speak. And he just, I'm surprised he didn't almost throw up because of just all the moves that Omega was doing, but it really does show how much of an improved flyer that she's become. And then they get to see the Echo returns. Omega's very happy to see him. And then what we see is that he asks his Tech to say, hey, is there a way where you can do this for me? And we do see that Tech, he's willing to do it, but at the same time, Echo, he's wanting to make sure that what they're doing is going to help everybody, because right now there's really no big concern on what's going to happen, because right now Echo is just trying to help Rex as well as everybody else, but he's not sure exactly what it's going to do as long as it helps their brothers. Now, we do see where Tech finally does crack the code, but earlier we see where Crosshair is getting interrogated / tortured by this doctor on Mount Meccana, because we see where he's trying to find information about Omega, and surprisingly, Crosshair does not give it to him. He does escape a little bit enough to send out a distress code to the team to basically to warn them that, hey, you're being hunted. And then, of course, he does get captured, and he still does not give Omega up. Now, this is definitely showing a little bit of whatever is left of loyalty and good within Crosshair, because he's not willing to give up the clones as well as also Omega. So that really does show a lot, but it also is going to be willing to show why is Omega so important, other than possibly being the first girl clone, as well as, it seems maybe she's on Alter somehow. But it's going to be rather interesting to see where it's going to go from here, because now that they know that, okay, do we rescue Crosshair, do we go after him, like, what are we going to do? And it's really going to show to see where exactly we go from here. It's really going to be interesting to see where Crosshair is going to be. Is he's going to end up giving up his life for Omega, or are they going to be able to save him, or is someone going to die? There's a lot of unanswered questions that we're going to be seeing within the show in the next few days. But overall, I think that this episode was really good. It was a lot better than last week's episode. Again, really we got to see more of how the differences between the clone troopers as well as the stormtroopers, or the first version of the stormtroopers, because the stormtroopers are very trained. They're just not trained as good as the clones are. It just really showed that when Rex's and Echo's men really targeted this Imperial ship, and you really got to see just how good that the clone troopers still are after so many years. But overall, guys, let me know your thoughts are about this down in the comments down below. If you guys are new to the channel and still not subscribing, what did you guys think about this episode? Please let me know down in the comments down below. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys on the very next one.